guys are good to go.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's get this started. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming on today. We got a good show for you today. Good workshop in decentralized AI and blockchain. I'm Elliot. I am a developer and contributor to BuildDAO. For those of you guys that do not know, BuildDAO is a DAO built in a near ecosystem made to provide a decentralized and collaborative ecosystem for developers and innovators in the blockchain space. You can learn more about us and how to get involved at nearbuilders.org as we build the open web together. Just to get some updates out of the way, remember that there are 3 days left in the Redacted Hackathon. There's over $700,000 in bounties focusing on chain abstraction and decentralized AI. So remember to build your project, get it submitted all before October 31st, and then come and join us in Bangkok, Thailand, November 9th through the 11th in the Builder Village that BuildDAO will be hosting inside of Olympic Village along with our partners Build City. Nav, you mind introducing yourself? I think you're on mute.
Yeah, I think we are good now. Okay. Yeah, so first of all, welcome everyone to this amazing workshop. And my name is Nav. I'm from Build City. So I'll quickly talk about a little bit about Build City, what we are doing and what we are building at Build City. So we are the space where people can learn, build, and then we incubate the innovative projects. So we have been working on some cool projects amongst ourselves. We have been working on Brainwave project, decentralized energy project, and just collaborating on education initiatives, so that we realize that education can play a big part. So thanks to Nearbuilder and BuildDAO and Venture Miner for collaborating with us and then spreading this awareness on decentralized energy, decentralized world, and then super excited to have you on board and come join us. I'll pass it to Elliot. He will talk a bit more about and then he'll bring up the other speaker for the tonight. So over to you.
Thanks for the intro. And yeah, Build City's been really cooking up a lot. They're really active on socials. There's been really good energy. If you are here in New York too, come check them out. Come build with us. It's really good vibes and a lot of good energy going on. All right, well, we can go ahead and get into it. So today we'll be talking with Mateusz from Venture Miners. He's going to be giving us a workshop on building AI-powered apps, an introduction to generative AI for blockchain application, this intersection in AI and blockchain that we've been exploring for this hackathon. Would you want to get started?
Well, thanks for the intro, Elliot. It's great to be here with all of you. It's going to be a short workshop to introduce you with almost everything that you need for deploying your app with AI, some of the tools that we use. And we still have time for the hackathon, right? So if you don't have a front end, you don't have a working version, it's still enough time for you to deploy something and win a lot of bounties. Get started with your career and with your project inside Near, and to get ready for all of the good content on the DevCon with Redacted, and then later in New York. I guess we don't have the public information yet, but I can assure you that we have some good things planned for New York in December too, just after DevCon. So stay tuned. We're going to do some call to actions at the end of this streaming too. And first of all, I thank all of you that are watching, that are following the Redacted, the Build City, that you are following BuildDAO, that you are following Venture Miner. It's your contribution that makes us going. And let me introduce myself, Mateusz from Venture Miner. I'm going to be your teacher today, guiding through this exciting subject of building the apps with AI. I'm going to start with presenting my screen. I have some links for today. I'm going to show you how to find this information. And it's going to we're going to have a interactive part. Okay. I'm going to put those links into the description later. If we have questions in the YouTube stream or in the StreamYard comments, I'll try to keep an eye on those. But also, if you want to ask more questions later, I'm going to show the Telegram a group that we have. You can ask questions asynchronously there, post memes, and be part of the community. Okay, and you'll put all of those in the descriptions after the streaming finishes. So without further ado, let me start by sharing my screen, and I'll guide you through all of this content. Okay. Let me organize my tabs here, and here we have. Let's start with this piece of art that is the definition of artificial intelligence according to the Dartmouth Summer Research Project on artificial intelligence. Because when we read these two words together, artificial and intelligence, that is a tricky part, because one of these words is 100% true. AI is artificial. It's impossible to argue that it is a fruit of nature or something that has some sort of biologic nature. Of course, it's artificial. It's not found in nature as we have here, like machine learning and all. So yes, unquestionably, it is artificial. But intelligence, when we speak about definitions of intelligence itself or consciousness and all, it might not be so clear. 100% is artificial, but intelligent, we gotta think on that. Because when we interact with it, it seems intelligence, right? When we use ChatGPT, for example, I'm sure that all of you have tried this before. Then we chat with it with something like get advice on how to start building on Near. Okay? If I ask this for a ChatGPT, it's going to sound intelligent. It's going to sound chatty, like it's going to sound like a person speaking. Okay, and this made things a little blurry, because when these guys invented this term artificial intelligence, and for decades, since 56 to until 2022, so for almost a century, artificial intelligence was not that tricky to get. Okay, artificial intelligence, just to make sure we are sharing, we are seeing the screen sharing, right?
You see the screen now.
Okay, now we have.
Yeah.
So I was presenting this. When we ask something for ChatGPT, it answers like it is chatting. Get a device on how to start building on Year, for example. I use a ChatGPT to ask this. Was thinking that I was sharing my screen, and here's the answer. So we have something very verbose. It seems like a chat, right? So this is one example. You can try anything else. And here things started to get tricky. On November 2022, on 2022, we had the release of ChatGPT. And then this definition of artificial intelligence started to sound tricky. Because before ChatGPT, for almost a century, 7 decades or so, when we spoke about AI, it was an algorithm using linear algebra that would calculate the most probable outputs for something that we put as input, we insert as input, without actually explicitly programming the code for doing that. Okay, so let's say I have a function, I put some numbers in, a polynomial, for example, and then we can calculate the output without actually explicitly coding the algorithm for calculating that. We could do some statistical reference relationship, and then the application would know how to output correct or almost correct outputs in the other side. And it was used like for computer vision, for segmentation, for summarization, for many other things. But it was never like this. Okay, it was never like ChatGPT. It was something very application specific. It was something that would require domain knowledge. And then you would need to program, you would need to feed the data, you would need to model everything, Even we had like Watson, GPT, GPT-2 that could do chat, but it was very bad. It was very far from anything intelligent. It was just regurgitating Reddit data or something like this, or Wikipedia data, whatever. Until then, until November 2022, then we started to have this. And then, yeah, it got more tricky because now artificial intelligence is not just a beautiful name that we put to something, it is almost a fake news. Why I'm putting like that? Because when we ask this application and it answers in a human-like way, it creates this appearance, it creates this image that is actually thinking on something. And in most of the time, it is very convincing. So here we have a very good answer. Well, NIA protocol is a great choice. It's user-friendly, developer-focused blockchain. You can set up like that. You can create a NIA account like this. So it is explaining very well. But if we go further, if we ask something like, do you like programming with NIA? And then the correct answer would be something like, I'm like, when I hear for you here, the computer would acknowledge like I'm just a computer, I don't know how to code, something like this. But because of how these AIs work, sometimes they invoke, they create a construct that is an impersonation of I, like I'm a person, and start answering like I like it because I think. Come on. The AI answer. I think that near CLI and Explorer makers plus with the strong community support, all of the NIA part is correct here, okay? But this I here, this is a construct. This is not something in reality. And it is confusing, and I acknowledge that in a human part, it is confusing because this is in the first time in the history of humankind that we have a figure, a concrete figure, not a metaphorical figure, a concrete figure that we can speak with it in a chatty way, and it answers like this. We cannot do that with dolphins, with monkeys, with dogs. They only have a few techniques of communications, but they are very intelligent. Now we have something that is more like a parrot, and this is why I like this discussion. A stochastic parrot that is able to mimic, it's able to sound like it can speak in a way that humans would understand. So it is like a parrot because it refers to parrot's ability to mimic human speech, yes, but also stochastic because like based on guesswork, it is just picking statistically some references inside the training data sets and spitting them out in the most probable order that we find them in the training data. So whatever was fed for this model to teach what is near, we had this kind of comment. For example, could be a user in Reddit, it could be an answer in Stack Overflow, could be parts of discussions inside Wikipedia, could be pieces of public information somewhere where someone was saying this, I think, I know, I find it pretty smooth. Okay, so this is not actually the impersonation of an AI thinking. It's just the regurgitation of information that it had in the training data set. Okay, so if we ask crazy things like, what was your last application built on NIR? So it might answer that it built something in the past. Okay, I don't actually build applications myself, but I can guide you to the process. Okay, we're going to see that. I'm going to pull you for that in a while. Okay, so this is the first thing that I like to explain about the demystification of it, because later we're going to ask things for the AI to do, and you got to remember that the AI at least the state-of-the-art models that we have right now, they are just stochastic parrots, okay? They just answer based on guesswork, and they cannot think what they are doing. For you to think with neural networks, machine learning now, it is possible. For example, that is the neural symbolic processing. Let me search for AI or something like this. That would be able, like this neural symbolic AI, for example, the things that Google DeepMind, it is that they are researching upon this right now, and there are some other companies doing that too, that would be able to actually replicate the capabilities of reasoning, learning, and cognitive modeling. Okay, theoretically, we don't know yet, but there are some models that would be able to do this. And everything that we have, as far as I know, of state of the art, we don't have neurosymbolic processing, nothing in the realm of AGI. Even like GPT-4o1, it can think. Actually, no, it can do chain of thought. Chain of thought is just a loop of stochastic parrots speaking to themselves, fine-tune it to try and reason, but it's not reasoning yet. Yes, we have agents that use that as brain, but all that we have right now in the state-of-the-art models, they are not thinking. Okay. Now I've been speaking of that for more than 10 minutes, and I'm going to close this discussion with, it doesn't matter. If you want to know if AIs are thinking or not, if they can think or not, there are books like this one. No, actually, I'm in the wrong page. No, I was looking for the appendix of this book. Okay, this book is Chalmers, The Conscious Mind. And back in 96, this author was thinking on strong artificial intelligence, whether it's possible or not, if we can have consciousness inside machine or not, if it's possible to mimic consciousness or not. You're going to find this on page 332 of this book, and there are many other books discussing about this thing. And as far as I know, all of this discussion is yet in the philosophical realm. Because in the engineering realm, it literally doesn't matter. I like the philosophy discussion of it. I like reading this kind of books, discussing this with people. But for us developers and for engineers, it doesn't matter if this is thinking or not. So long we can get useful outputs of it, it is good. It sounds weird when we put it like that, yes. But let me do a metaphor or a comparison. You probably have used means of transport to cross distances. For example, have you ever used a plane to go from location A to B? Or have you ever used a boat to cross a body of water? Probably yes, most of people. Before entering that transportation method, did you have a week-long discussion whether the plane is flying or not, or whether the boat is swimming or not? It doesn't matter. It gets you from point A to point B, right? Oh no, let's start a philosophical discussion and what is the nature of swimming? Do I need to have arms? Well, fish doesn't have arms, but they swim. Yes, but they swim with their own heads. Okay, so what constitutes the act of swimming is actually being able to move your muscles for that. So there is this whole path of theoretical discussion that we could go on philosophy to determine what consists on thinking or not, for us to say if we can replicate that with silicon or not. Yes, and I love this kind of discussions. But for us now, in the middle of a hackathon, in the middle of a workshop, a practical workshop, please, let's close this discussion, because it doesn't matter if the AI is thinking or not. What matters is that we can put inputs on it, and it can do outputs for us, okay? It is dangerous to think that it's intelligent, because it can create hallucinations, and now we know about that. There's a lot of content about this out there, but this is let's put it like that. This is a controlled effect. We know that it can hallucinate. How it hallucinates now, we should be careful. But this is enough for this discussion about intelligence or no intelligence. Okay. That being said, we can delve deeper into the use of AI for development. For example, there are tools like this one, like V0, that you can use for free, where you can prompt anything like that, like chat interfaces. You can use English, can be your programming language for this. And then you can ask a question. So, for example, how to build a simple web application for my near dApp. So then the model behind V0 is thinking. It is going to answer something that it's included with that we have code included. And for example, it's suggested, so it starts answering first in a chatty way, in a conversational flow, explaining that I mostly focused on web development with Next.js. This I again, increase the zoom a little. This is a construct, there is no I here, okay? But the AI is impersonating that. I'm mostly focused on the web development with Next.js, but I can guide you through creating a simple web application structure that you can adapt for your near app. Spoiler alert, I'm going to show you how to create a near app just in a while. Let's entertain ourselves with V0 for now. And then it started. Here, a basic setup using Next.js, which provides a great foundation for building a modern web application. And then it instructs us to create the application, enter it, and then it instructed us to create a web page like this app page.tsx. Then we have this simple dashboard page here that we can connect near wallet, interact with it with a smart contract, and then handle transactions. So this whole flow could go inside ChatGPT too. I could start a new chat and then ask for the same thing, how to build a simple application for my near dApp. But the answer here, it's going to be less visual. So it's quite the same idea of the models that we can ask for guiding those instructions. We're going to have code to copy and all. I'm going to show some applications like V0 and then later Cursor that are going to give us a better enhanced developer experience for us to interact with these AI models, okay? First this one here in a chat environment, and then later with Cursor for a whole IDE for that. So look, the model is able to answer things. Here we have all of the information being passed for the user that is asking, but there is no much of action from the side of ChatGPT. ChatGPT wasn't programmed to visualize. There are some applications like Cloud from Anthropic where you can visualize those artifacts and all, but ChatGPT doesn't have that functionality. With V0, we can. So for example, we have this page that I can click on connect, that I can click on disconnect. Actually, it's not working. Good, it's not working. But this would be the interface, the interaction. We can even ask follow-up questions. So, for example, I can ask it to add a table of last transactions. Add a table last transactions. Okay. See, I told you that you could use that for deploying your hackathon project. It's starting to code for you, right? So then the V0 application, web application, is going to remember the code that it was before. It's going to suggest follow-up changes based on what you are doing, based on what we're chatting, and then it's going to update the page. Here, we don't have the functionality yet coded. I'll go full screen for you to see. So that would be the dashboard, disconnect, less transactions, We have this table. This all is hard-coded information. Okay, it's not working. The page is not live, but at least we have the interface. Okay, that could be the start of your app. Let's say you have your smart contract working, you have your backend working, but you don't have a good front end. This could be your quick addition. This could be your front end developer for the hackathon. Okay, depending on how you can integrate it. And if you don't know about the styling, if you don't know about templates or layout and all, you can even ask the AI for doing that. Make it look fabulous. Then it's probably going to add some gradients, some colors, some elements and all. So it's going to remember your past code. It's going to add all of the visuals as needed. Okay, it's going to take a little while, less than a minute, I hope. Then we're going to have the code here, there. For all of those changes, you can keep track of the versions that you have. This is why they call it V0, because then you can go back for V2, ask another thing, and go back and forth, combine those changes. And yes, it's adding a lot of code there. I'm excited to see how it goes. And yes, it's looking fabulous. Not perfect, it seems. Those buttons are white, but it's way better. I knew we would throw a gradient. Okay, here we have. Okay. Well, for 7 minutes of work, it's quite decent, right? You could work with it a while. And look, it doesn't need any prior domain knowledge. I could literally have my grandmother chatting with this, and then, like, imagine if I put voice here. It doesn't need to be typed. I put voice. Yes, I could literally pick anyone, any technical illiterate person, and they would be able to code with this. Okay, and if your grandmother is super techie savvy, like, you can say, hey, my grandmother was working in NASA before you were born. And I was like, okay, sorry about this. I'm using my grandmother as an example. Might not apply for everyone. In my situation, my grandmother wouldn't be able to code anything, but if I put voice input, for example, it could be a very reasonable experience for her to code something. Literally anyone would be able to code with these kind of AI tools, okay? For you to turn that into your own code, there are those instructions for you to add to the code base, for you to fork this code, you can share with other people. And then you can, in this situation, this is specifically using a template called Next.js. Okay, that is a framework on top of React. React itself, it's a library. It's not a framework according to their own documentation. So if you want to add this on React, only like vanilla React, you would need to import all of the necessary dependencies, do all of the project structure by yourself. When you do that on Next.js, you already have all of this structure from ground up. So then you could pick a Next.js project, you would run this command, it would add this exact page for your repository, and then you can import this component with all of the styles there. Okay, using ShadCN on top of Tailwind, on top of Next.js. So a lot of suggestions. Plus, this is maintained by Vercel. They do charge for hosting, depending on the amount of transactions that you have, of users that you have actually inside the application. But for a hackathon project or for a simple MVP, you could even host that for free. So not only you have the code here, very easy for you to start working with, you could even deploy and host that application online. Let's say you want to impress the judges. Instead of just presenting, you could say something like this: hey, enter this website and test my application now. Okay, that is possible with Vercel. You can host that for free online, and then you can really put the application on the hand of the judges, in the hand of your first users inside the hackathon. Okay, that is V0. There are many other similar applications like this where you can chat to make a project. there is one that I would like to demonstrate that I love, but this is not that useful. I just love the concept of it. That is this make reel from Draw. You can draw literally anything. I'm going to do very quickly here, but you can literally draw anything, like a page like this with a pen and then a button. You just draw anything at all, just some sketches. Let me put a person here. I don't know if it's going to understand that this is a person. And then I can add some text. So for example, this is my dashboard page. Oops. And then I'm going to put a button here. I don't know if it's going to work. I just find the idea of this fast prototyping code, like connect to near, and then this is my profile. Okay, it's not going to be the most polished version, the most polished thing, but then you can just click in this button, make a reel, and somehow the AI is going to use computer vision, is going to understand the sketch somehow, and then we have this page. So here it is, like connect to here, loading Ipsum. Let me double click here. Then I can click on connect, my profile, John Doe. Somehow it understood to my sketches, and it can compose an interface that later I can copy the HTML. I can even throw that for like Replit or Code Sandbox or Stacklet and start editing with it. Okay, so there is no excuse. Let's say you're chatting with your team members and you have an idea. You sketch this in the paper. You take a picture, you put it here, or you sketch it here. You can start having a front end. Okay. I totally expect like thousands of new apps per year coming from this kind of stuff. A lot of badly writing things that don't work, of course. Not everything's going to be perfect. But imagine like 2, 3 years, 5 years from now, when AIs finally can produce good outcomes, and then people can start prototyping ideas in minutes instead of months. You are having a pizza or a drink with your friends, you prototype an idea, then the next day the AI have developed that app. In the other week, you receive a seed investment, you're now a millionaire. This is how I see it going. And I don't know how to stop it. I guess we should stop it, but I don't know how. So let's just embrace this is our future now. And let's say we have like 25 minutes. The best experience that I know so far for you to use AI inside your development flow is inside an IDE like Cursor. Because until you can totally delegate the task for AI, like build a game, Flappy Bird game on Near, and then you delegate that, you don't elaborate anything, and you return half an hour later, and the game is there. Until we have an AI in that stage, which we don't have yet, okay, AIs can't do that yet, as far as I know, you still want to code. So sorry, grandmother, you're not going to be able to develop a game yet. So you still need some domain knowledge. You still want to code with the AI. Some things the AI is going to get correct. Some things you're going to need to fix yourself, like a peer programming experience, like programming with a junior, or with a very senior developer, but that it is high on crack or it's hallucinating, something like this. So it is like you can combine the things that the AI is giving you with your own knowledge about coding, and then you two can collaborate much faster. Because it's not easy to just prompt like, no, bro, you got it wrong. Fix line 42. Instead of you chatting with the AI for the AI to fix the things that you detected, that it takes a while and back and forth, and now it's very difficult to actually make the AI to know their own errors. Like, have you ever seen like how many R's there are in the board? strawberry. Okay, so these kind of things are tricky for the for the AIs. Like 1, 2, 3. There are 3 letter R's in strawberry, but it's saying that it has 2 because the AI it's not able to understand the composition of words itself. So the same way, if you refer to the code that the AI put here, and you specifically refer to line 42 or to this fragment and all, it's not going to do a good job. The same way that counting R in strawberry is that tricky because of the way the AI thinks. It's actually going to divide this word in tokens. It's not going to detect that there are R's, letters there. So it is tricky for the AI. Don't take it that heavy. They are not intelligent yet. They are artificial, but they are not intelligent. So whenever you use tools like this or V0 and you give them a task, they are going to fail. There are a lot of things that they don't understand. The best experience that I found so far is using an IDE where you can peer program side by side with the AI, for the AI to compose some code for you, and then you can take it from there, make some fixes, then you ask the AI to do some things else, okay? And the installation process of this kind of programs are very easy. You can use, for example, Copilot or Code Whisperer, like they rename it for Q Developer, I guess now. There are some extensions like this that you can install inside VS Code. You just install and they work. Sometimes you've got to pay a monthly fee for them to work well too. And there are others like this Cursor that you download the whole application. They like forked the VS Code repository, and they built the whole AI code editor on top of it. It has a paid plan too, but you can use that for free with some limitations. And ideally, it's going to be very easy for you to install. You can just download the binary. I have that installed already. I don't need to download it again. But you're going to find it, I guess, I don't want to download it. I want to see the download options because they don't have the download page anymore. But they're going to have those options. If you click on download, you're going to download for Mac or for Linux. This is my situation here. So you're going to download an app image. Or you can download that for Windows and install there on Windows, just like you have all the IDEs. And then you're going to have an interface like this. We open Cursor, my computer. That is very similar to any other IDE that you have been using. Very similar actually to even VS Code because it's a direct fork on it. And then I can open a folder. I can start connecting to a directory, a remote directory. Okay, that would be the interface of Cursor. If you're following the stream there on your side, you're going to find it on cursor.com. Again, we're going to put all of those links later in the reference for you to find. Cursor here, the creating your app that I'm going to explain later, the Telegram channel for you to ask questions. So if you are following this stream right now, just navigate to cursor.com. You're going to find it to download. And after you install, you're going to have an interface like this, okay? There are the normal functionalities from VS Code that you're going to find here in the menus. Like if you have used the VS Code before, it's going to be very familiar. And if you go for File and then Preferences, here on this menu, you're going to find the normal VS Code settings, and there are these Cursor settings. So this is where all of the intelligence, AI intelligence for Cursor happens, where you can connect your account, and then you can have your models, okay? VS Code is open source, so the creators of Cursor thought that it would be cool if they have this premium feature that you can pay for them, but also you can use Cursor for free, of course. So instead of using their own models, you can put your own API keys. So you don't need to pay Cursor. You could pay OpenAI and paste the key here, Anthropic for cloud, and you paste the key here, Google for Gemini, and the keys here, Azure. You can do all of that instead of paying Cursor directly for using those APIs, okay? Then you can add your own models here. You can even point to a local host if you configure that properly. You don't need necessarily to pay for this for third party or for Cursor. And also, you are going to find the features for you to configure it later. I guess the most important one, if you are starting with Cursor right now, maybe they move it. They have, here, actually it's in general, that is privacy mode, okay? If you're using code tools like this, Cursor or any other IDE, but with AI, consider if you are doing some project that is with private code bases, okay? If it's a project from a client or for a corporation or the company you work for, because if you don't have private mode, you're going to send code snippets for databases, for OpenAI, for Cursor and all. They have that anonymous generally, but sometimes this can get tricky. Okay, so before blindly going and using AI tools like this, consider privacy, especially if you provide services for clients or if you're working for a company. This can get tricky. Okay, but without further ado, let's start with the idea of Cursor. I can open any folder in my computer. So I have my desktop here. Let me present this screen. I have a terminal open in my desktop. Okay. I'm going to create a new directory, make G project. Okay, G project. And this directory is empty, is in my desktop here. I just created, it's empty. And then I'm going to open this folder in Cursor. Go for my desktop project. I'm going to open this folder. There is nothing there. I just created it. But I'm going to create a new file. For example, an index.html that is empty. And usually how you code things, you would start by coding this yourself with an HTML doc-type, HTML, blah, blah, blah. You would put that code yourself. You would type even with auto-completions from a Copilot or whatever. You might be very familiar with that. But Cursor can go beyond. Remember how you could prompt V0 with just an English text, with English request? So here now the same thing. There is a composer that you can open with Command K in Mac or Control K in Linux or Windows, that you can just do some instructions like create near app dashboard. Now it's using vanilla HTML, so it's going to write everything just with HTML, with some JavaScript, with HTML, JavaScript, and CSS for styling. Actually, it embedded the styling here, and here I can accept that change here, or I can just use Control Enter or Command Enter, and here I have. It's now a web page written by AI. Nothing different of what ChatGPT or V0 would do for you, but here we are using the IDE direct. So if I open this web page in my browser, let me go for this index page in my browser, open a new tab here. This is the code produced by the AI. A near dashboard and then a connect wallet, but connect wallet is not doing anything. So let's say I want to change a specific piece inside the page. Okay, so in line 84 to 89, we have this script that whenever I click on this button, I'm going to console log connecting to near wallet. Okay, let me see if that's the case. If I click here in the console, it should have, yes, it is appearing. Good. But let's say I want to do something else. When I click the button, I can type in English. Okay, let's be inclusive for non-technical people. I can ask so that when I click the button, display a loader. Okay. Then it's going to understand what we put here, what we have in the page. It's going to understand what is above and below, and it's going to suggest exactly the amount of code that I need in this place. And if I don't like the result, I can do a follow-up instructions. A bigger loader, please. And then it's going to understand the changes that it made. It's going to pick, it's going to do the changes. You can accept them here. Just Control Enter. I'm going to save, and I'm going to reload. Nothing guarantees that this is going to work, okay? And yes, it's working. Oh my God. That's amazing. Not always it gets in the first try. But here I have connecting, and it's working. Brilliant. Brilliant. Very, very good. If you don't know exactly where you should change in the page, you can open the chat with Command L or Control L. You can pick specific pages or specific pieces of a page and add here into this chat. You can even include mentions to things with this at, for example, from a file, from a folder, from a code, from the web, from the docs, from Notepad, for anything that you have from Git, and mention something here to add into the context. And then you can ask follow-up questions like, what is this page doing? It's going to explain you. It's not going to code anything, but it's going to explain you. This can be your teacher. This can be your instructor on how to code. It might hallucinate sometimes, yes, but it can provide you extended chat with what you're building. And then you can even ask changes. I don't know exactly where to change, but I want to make this page dark, with a dark background and with some gradients, like make the page with a dark background and add some gradients. Okay, this is vanilla JavaScript with HTML, no framework on top of this. So somehow the AI is going to figure this out. What are the additions to be done here? Okay, and then I can just apply. Here are the necessary style updates to make a dark theme and gradients. Here are the changes, and then it's going to explain the changes that they did, that the AI did. So I can just click on apply. It is going to, look, this is super powerful. It is going to figure out what are the pieces of the code for it to change. Then you can review one by one. Okay, here it is hallucinating. Here it's not. I like this change. I didn't like this other change. Okay, then you can accept everything or just the things that you want. And then when you load the page, it has the changes. Okay. Oh, nice. Connect wallet. I didn't notice that it added this. Oh, this neon effect is nice with shadow. Okay. So this is quite the same experience that we had with V0, but now it's easier for us to code along. Without of asking the AI to fix their own mistakes, we can code along and fix them ourselves, changing the lines as we see fit. Okay. Now let's combine this with the power of frameworks, with the power of the already present templates, not generated by AI. Actually, people coded those templates. And let's pair it up with the powers of Cursor. Okay, let me close this chat. Let me close this file. Let me use this resource, the Create Near app. Let me see if I have the tabs correct. Okay, so this is the one that we just created using Cursor. I'm going to use this starter repository called Create Near app that is going to start this project, start this sample application using a framework called Next.js, the same one that I mentioned that we can use in V0. Okay, so all of the benefits of deploying Vercel, importing pages like this, you can use inside Next.js using, for example, this boilerplate code. Okay, The idea of this framework is that it can work out of the box. You don't need to configure everything. It follows a philosophy standard of conventions over configurations. This is very popular nowadays. So that when you, let's say you're a beginner, or when you start the project, you don't need to waste hours by configuring everything, configure the routes, configure the components, configure the styling logic and all. You have all of that ready for you in the beginning with some conventions, and then you can tweak it later. So we are going to use this program, create near app. This is a npm package built on JavaScript, and for it you need Node. Okay, JavaScript was made a few decades ago, thinking that it would target the browser, but then with frameworks like with engines like Node or Burn or some others, you can make it target your own computer, like writing files or putting things for the terminal using C or Zig code or whatever code in the back under the hood for doing those commands for you. So if you want to know more about this create near app before installing, you can search for that in the web, create near app on npm. You're going to find the application out there. Okay, this is a public npm package published a month ago. This version was published a month ago. And this is the public information. Okay, you can even know what is the code behind it, how to install. All of the documentation is here. So when we execute this command in our machine, create new app, is going to pick the latest version of it inside the node, inside the npm repository, and is going to pick that for running this command. For that, we need Node. Okay, npx. It's using the npm package manager to execute packages with Node inside your machine. So for that, you would need at least the version 16 or 18. I guess you can use 20. That would be the LTS to 16 or 18 or more. I guess this is how we should put it for running this project. If you have an older version of Node, it could be tricky. Okay, so we're going to create a new app at the version latest. We're going to create a simple web application using Next.js app router. Okay, it's there are two different ways for us to create with page router or app router. App router is more recent in version 13, 14, 15 that just released a week ago. Then we'll go with it, where the framework is going to structure all the pages for yourself. And we're going to create this project called Hello Near. Okay, and it's going to install the dependencies. It's not going to be installed globally on your computer. Okay, if this is the first time for you installing an npm project, be mindful of a folder called npm modules, where all of those dependencies are going to be installed there. There's going to be some megabytes, sometimes some gigabytes of data there inside that folder. And when you don't want to use this project anymore, you can just delete that. So it's not, you're not going to have the trouble of uninstalling those dependencies one by one. Okay, that might take a little while, a minute or two. And what is going to happen is that this program called create near app is going to create all of the folder structures for you, with the application for the front end, the logic for connecting to the wallet, using a browser wallet or any compatible wallets that you might have access to in your front end. It's going to handle the network connections, the smart contract connections, get information from the chains. Here, if I remember well, it's targeting the near testnet. So you should be able to add the testnet to your wallet if you don't have it yet, and connect to that front end. Okay, we have like 5 minutes to go. I guess I can show this project setup running in my local host, and then we can try some quick changes with AI. That should be quick enough. Okay. Let's see how far we went. While this is installing, let me see. Yes, this should take a minute or two to install. Let me drop you a link, a very useful link. If you have any questions after this record, if you watch this later in the future, you can ask asynchronously later in our Telegram group of the Venture Miner Academy. Okay, you're going to find it by V Miner Academy. Okay, you can search for this in Telegram, V Miner Academy. Venture miner. So we want to mine ventures like talents and new startups. That would be the idea of this name. Okay, search for that in Telegram. You can ask questions there. You can enter chat with all of the students. Post your hottest memes there. Find collaborators for the hackathon. Find team members. Plan your trip together for the DevCon for you to participate in. Redacted for you to be there in real life. Connecting with fellow builders, listening to speakers like Edward Snowden there. So be invited to join our Telegram group. If you have any questions, to be part of the community. And that should have given us enough time for you to finish installing. Not yet. Might need another minute. Okay. It's going. We have progress. And at the end, it's going to create some more files inside this folder that we had. We had this project folder here, remember, where we put this index.html. It's going to put some files here. This is all created by the tool itself, by the NPM package itself, creating the framework of files. It's going to put everything needed inside the source file for the application, all of the assets here inside this public folder, and all of the configurations needed, the package.json, the jsconfig.json, the readme, and the next config if you want to deploy it later. Okay, yes, it finished. Just I was demonstrating the files. So I can change directory for that folder, and then, as I have a couple minutes only, I can run this page for you to show that it's working. npm run dev. This is going to bundle all of the files inside this application, transpile them if needed, because it's on JavaScript already, and it's going to create a browser app for me to interact with, hosted in my local host, in my own computer. And the same page that I had this, no, not before, I wasn't hosting actually. Actually, this is going to be in localhost, my own computer serving this page in the port 3000. So no, it's not going to be accessible for other people unless you open the ports of your computer for other people, and that's not a good idea. So it's going to be only on your own computer. If you want to demonstrate that for the judges in a web development, for clients, for early users for them to access, you will need to host that application later. Like I mentioned, there are some hosting solutions like Vercel that can do that quite quickly for you. Okay, and they are perfectly integrated with Next.js. Let me show you the structure before the page is rendered. We have that source folder and this app folder that would have all of the contents of the page. So that is this page.js that has this structure, like the logo and everything that's going to be displayed. And then this hello near that would have all of the logic of the page, okay? With this JavaScript code that would compute the functions, like this hello near function or whatever, and then would return some HTML elements depending on what is computed here. This is all the work of the framework itself. So when we deploy, here's the application. It's connected to my wallet, connected to my MetaMask here in this browser, and this is the visuals that I would have. Okay, using cursor, I could add it any content that I would like. For example, ask anything. I have this page here, so add a 5 stars counter to display how neat is year with AI. So imagine that could be any prompt that you would like. This is what I could think in this 5 minutes that we have. Then I'm going to apply this. I'm going to pick the changes. Okay, Control Enter. And then I should have that displayed in my front end. That might take a little while to compile, and then I'm going to have these 5 stars if the AI got that correctly. There it is. Should be there somewhere. I guess I would need to, yes, I guess it would only display if I would connect to the contract here. Okay, but that's not a problem. You see that the code was inserted here. We have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. This is the code. And then I would hit 5 stars here. That would be the idea. Okay. So the best of both worlds. Now we have AI to edit this code. We have the template to get started very quickly. We have Neo for deploying our smart contracts. What else do you want, right? Now go win those $500,000 of bounties in the hackathon, 500,000, right? And I guess this is all that we needed for this workshop. I guess you're now in your path for winning a hackathon, starting your startup later, including great things in the year, right?
Yeah, that was great, Matt. It does. It shows just how easy it is. Like, there's really, when it comes to a hackathon and everything, I know that me especially, I leave the front end type of stuff usually till the end, or that type of thing. It's really, this shows just how easy it is that you can just create in your app, spin it up in Cursor, Claude, Chat GPT, even that make reel that you showed in the beginning with TL Draw, which is always really cool. Yeah, just you can really rip out the finishing touches of making your hackathon project look really great in just these last 3 days.
Awesome.
But cool. Thank you for coming on today. I know this is one of many upcoming workshops that you're going to be doing with us. This is a really great introduction. I really liked the beginning, especially when you talked about the description of reasoning and whether or not, who cares if a AI is really conscious or not, because it's doing what it needs to do. So cool. Thank you for coming on. I think we can wrap it up here, and then we'll start up next week, or start up the next time, diving in a bit deeper to how to take it into the next level.
Yeah, thank you so
100%.
much for taking your time and just spreading the straight up knowledge. I think this is going to be very, very helpful. And Build City is committed to bring all these amazing workshop, and then we are also working on a bootcamp. So probably we will be able to collaborate with Venture Miner and BuildDAO. And thank you so much, BuildDAO and Elliot, and supporting us. And then we will be coming up with more workshop where we will be able to educate people, and they will basically help people to build whatever they want to build, whatever they are passionate about. So yeah, looking forward to meeting all of you, and then we'll do some good thing detected in talent. Thank you.
It's great. Thank you, everyone.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. We'll end it here. Have a good night.
Bye.
Night.